Now, let's talk about loss.
So like the only liberation we can have is after death.
No. The only liberation you can have is understanding what you're walking into. So you can move very, very carefully. Now, let me put some things on the board so you can to some extent understand that it is inevitable, impossible for us not to have relationships. It doesn't matter how much of a beast life has made you into. You have no choice but to be in relationships. And whenever you are in a relationship with anything, you become attached to it. If you hate your father, you have a very intense and bona fide relationship with hate. It gives you meaning. It gives you a purpose. When the phone rings and you hear his voice, it gives you purpose. You put the phone down, you disconnect and you walk away. We have no choice as human beings but to be in relationships. End of story. And relationships create attachment, meaning, identity. Why do you go to a therapist's office? I hate being angry all the time. Can you help me find release from the hate? What you're saying, I want to divorce hate and walk into a relationship that's a bit more healthy. And why do you want to lose hate? Because you grieve the loss of calm, comfort, compassion, even love. Now, we'll talk about anger at a certain point in the semester, and what you need to know is that anger is a good thing. It really, really, really is. As long as it doesn't turn you into a Mike Tyson when he was young. Now, at the age of 50, almost 60, he's still angry. But he has conversations about his anger, about his past. Okay? Yeah, Idris.
I was just going to say, what if you,
I'm sorry?
I was going to ask
What?
anger. What if you can't contain
Oh,
anger?
yeah. Do you have children, Idris? See, when you have children, something really interesting happens. When they're young, they just pee in their bed. They haven't yet the proper muscles. And even if they did, they wouldn't really know how to work it the first few months. So they just wet themselves all the time. There comes a point where instead of wetting the bed every single night, they do it once a week. And then they have something that they didn't have before, which is they kind of come to you relatively embarrassed, they're ashamed. Oh, Mom, I tried, but it just wet my bed again. And we say, it's okay. Then there comes a point where they have the muscles and they know how to work the muscles. And they hold themselves. And then they do is they wake you up at 2 or 3 in the morning. Mom, Dad, I need to pee. Then you go to their bedroom, grab their hand, walk into the toilet bowl, and they pee, they go back to bed. Anger is very much the same way. That initially, because anger is, you see, when you drink a lot of water, what happens? Your bladder gets full. There comes a point where you need to release the liquid. So anger is the product of you and certain experiences in life that are mostly negative. And there is this buildup inside you. Not so much your physical bladder, but your emotional bladder. You keep taking it again and again and again until your emotional bladder gets full of resentment, of anger, of whatever the case may be. And then what do? Now, if you are an infant, in other words, if you don't know how to manage negative emotions well, like a 2-year-old, you're going to pee all the time. I look at you, say, what are you looking at? You go to Safeway, you want to buy something, someone looks at, what are you looking at? And every minute you're in a fight with someone. When you begin to have the proper tools to build the proper muscles, you're not going to pee, you're not going to express anger all the time. What you're going to do is going to say, yeah, I wonder why I'm angry now. Maybe I should just push the anger in, reflect on it a little bit. Okay? And then what you do is very much like a child, very much like all of us in this class, you have no choice but to be angry in life. It's a good thing to be angry. Okay? Life pushes you into anger and it's very natural. Couple of things. First, do not listen to all these new age teachers who tell you live in the present, don't be angry, anger is bad. It's not true. Okay? Second, find the proper toilet bowl to pour your anger in. You want to be angry and you want to express your anger, go to the gym. Write a book. Have a journal. Go seek therapy. Read the Bible. Go to the church and scream. Go hiking.
Get a punch bag.
Get a punching bag. Or become friends with him and punch him. Now. All right, now. Yeah. I'm never going to use this board in this class. Yeah.
So you were talking about attachments.
Right.
At the end, is it needed to lose them to get wisdom?
Couple of things. I don't really know what wisdom is. Even if I did know what wisdom was, I doubt very much I would be able to tell it to you. Even if I was proficient enough to know wisdom and know how to express wisdom, I'm not quite sure if you'd be mature enough to receive wisdom well without contaminating it with your own interpretation. So you need a couple of things. First, wisdom is not something linear. Let me give you an example. The American culture, or perhaps any industrialized culture, what happens to it is it becomes linear. Linear means this. You're here at point A, this is point B, and it's linear. If you examine the English language, it's kind of like IKEA, okay? You want a bookcase, you go to IKEA, you go downstairs to the basement, aisle 25, section 985B. You put this box in your car, you take it home, you open the box, there's a pamphlet, you go through it, step by step, you have a bookcase. Imagine now, you say, Amir, I am single. I want to be in a relationship. I.e., I want to love. What should I do? You see, with a bookcase, you know exactly what you need to do. With relationships, you're in the unknown, which means the following. Before you can get to B, you have to go to C, E, F, G, H, I. You have to go through all the alphabets, then you get to B. If you're lucky. And this is called non-linear. There are no clear steps. Things are confusing. You and I are walking in the dark. Which means this. When you walk into a non-linear environment, get ready to get bruised up, banged up. Now, once you get banged up, you got a couple of options. You can whine for the rest of your life, cry, complain, Or you can just grow a thicker skin and say, this is life and it's messed up. Like your parents, like my parents, like all immigrant parents. And if you're lucky, you get to be. If you're not lucky, you will learn how to cope with all the miseries in a healthy way.
I see you guys love it with you.
Anyone else before I put stuff on the board? No one? Jay? How about now? Before I continue, let me just add this footnote. A lot of things that we'll say in this class is going to be repetitious. You're going to come to class on Tuesday next week, say, oh wait, he talked about that last week. But you see, thinking very much like piano is an art. You have to keep playing the same note over and over and over again until it becomes part of you. So just in case, you assume that just because you heard it on Tuesday, you understand it, you don't. Okay? And every time you hear the same thing, you get something else from it. So don't just get bored and doze off. This is every single one of us in this classroom. And whether, if you're a religious person, you're probably going to say God gave this to you. If you're a naturalist, you're going to say, oh, this is the work of biology, nature. Either case, every healthy human being comes with 5 very, very, very powerful tools that make life possible. Eyes, ears, nose, taste, and touch. These are your 5 senses. You have no choice but to have the physical world go inside you. The moment you wake up, you look at the ceiling and you say, I need to change the color of my room. You walk into a bathroom at Laney College and all of a sudden say, yuck! It smells really, really bad. Sometimes you sit in this class and things are calm and normal, and all of a sudden I scream. You say, ow, my ear. Your 5 senses create a relationship. You and your surrounding. None of you in this class have the freedom to choose otherwise. Your senses bring the world inside you. Now, these 5 senses have only one function. They give you experience. That's all they do. At the very center of every experience that you have, either with your eyes or your nose or your touch or your taste or ears, you have what we call feelings. None of you in this class is exempt from this. Not a single one of you. The moment you walk out of this classroom and someone looks at you, you have a feeling. And feelings ultimately are put into three different categories. You either have a positive feeling, a negative feeling, or a feeling that's a mixture of positive and negative, i.e., you become indifferent. If any of you in this class have a good amount of secrets inside you, and I keep looking at you, you say, is he on to me? Okay? So remember, this is who we are. If you live in an Amish community, all the women you will ever see in your community have head coverings. That's all you will see. Every night you go home and you have food with your family. That's all you will see and experience. You are nothing but a collection of advertisements given to you by your environment. There is nothing unique about any of us. Your emotions don't belong to you. If you're sitting in this classroom and you feel as if I am pissing you off, that feeling that lives inside you, I own it. I created it inside you. It's not yours, it's mine. So don't ever assume that this is your life. It's not. All lives are created by another person, another thing. Now, if you've had a positive feeling, positive experience, you do something that all animals on this planet do. You want more of it. Our young friend who's in high school, who leaves usually around 10 to 9 or so, he by chance just signed up for my class last semester. And for him, the class was positive. What does he do? He wants more of it. So he signs up for this class. Next time you go to an ice cream shop, you look at the person and say, can I get a sample of that? What are you doing? Your eyes looks at the color, the texture, and you say, yes, I want that. It inspires a question, a desire. The next stage is, what you see, it looks good, but will your tongue approve of it? You grab the ice cream, you put it in your mouth, and you say, yuck. Now what you have is a conflict. Your eyes like, your tongue says no. And you know what you do? You crucify your desires given to you by your eyes, and you say, it's a no. And then you say, can I get that chocolate one, please? Your eyes say yes to chocolate. You put it in your tongue, it's a yes. So what do you say? I want 2 scoops of that. Whenever you have a positive experience, you want more of it. The only thing you need to be careful about positive experiences is the following. This will inspire greed. You have money. You buy yourself some clothes. You find yourself a nice place to live. You buy yourself a car and you say, my God, money is really good. It gives me power, comfort. What do? You become greedy for it. Why? Because when you have power in life, you can do whatever it is that you want to do. You want more of it. Okay? Now, at a certain point, if you're not careful, greed can turn quite toxic. Why? Because you become discontent with everything. You have money, you have power, but now the problem is it doesn't matter where you put the money in, you will always be unhappy. So, to counter greed, you need to learn how to become content. Now, remember, so whenever an experience is positive, you want more of it. Whenever an experience is negative, your organism says, no, no more. Drop the class. Don't ask him questions. Just sit back, remain invisible. He'll put you on the spot. Okay? So remember, when you walk away from something, it's a negative experience. When you move towards something, it's been a positive experience. Now, here's the trick. You smoke with your friends and it's really, really fun. 10 years of having fun will eventually get you to a place where you look at your life and you say, I have done absolutely nothing with it. And 10 years of pleasure, all of a sudden for you, turns into something of despair, of negative. So just because something is positive, it doesn't mean it's good for you. Dropping this class for now seems really, really good. But you graduating from Laney is delayed by 6 months. That's a time frame you'll never get back in your life. So if it sounds good right now, eventually you'll look back and you say, I should have stuck with it. Now, sometimes certain things can be negative. You want to learn how to play the piano. You're not Mozart. You have to sit, be able to read notes, stretch out your fingers. Your left hand is going to do something, your right hand is going to do something else, your feet are going to be something different, your eyes are going to be looking at notes, and these are tough things. And you say, no, I don't want to do it. But you have a parent who smacks you every time you express laziness. 10 years later, you're at Zellerbach Theater selling tickets because people are in line to hear you play piano. So just because something is initially negative, it doesn't mean that long term it's going to remain negative. It'll be positive. Okay? We haven't even talked about philosophy just yet, or maybe the subtleties or complexities. Just the feelings that live inside us are complicated. And it's going to take you many, many lifetimes to figure out which ones you should trust and which one you should walk into with a good amount of doubt and caution. Yeah.
One of the things that, like, I just want to younger people imagine probably the one of the things that a lot of people are having issues with finding things that get scary.
Right.
Because of those negative feelings.
Right.
So what would you say, how would you say that? Like with the piano thing, like you absolutely hate playing, like if you like playing piano because like you have a professional musician that you want to learn.
Let's say that you don't like school. You hate the classes, you don't really like the instructors, you find most of it to be busy work, and let's just say temperamentally, you happen to have a somewhat very creative, very free flow of a temperament, right? And you walk in these classes and you feel as if they're caging your spirit. You're dying from inside. Let's say you come to my office and you say, Amir, forgive me for putting it this way. Let's say, Amir, I really like this class. Do you think I should major in philosophy? I'm going to sit you down and say, Shanti, listen, school is going to suck. Teachers are going to be awful. Classes are going to be awful. You're going to be writing a lot of ridiculous essays. You're going to read a lot of ridiculous books. But here's what I will promise you. I'm right now about 60. You're, say, 18. Do 2 years of Laney. You'll be 20. Go to Berkeley if you can. Or somewhere better. Yale, Oxford. Get your bachelor's. You'll be 22. Go get your master's in philosophy and humanities. It'll take you a year and a half, 2 years. You'll be 24, 25. Come back to Laney. I will give you a job. And what I'm telling you is this. Now, when I give you a job here, the thing you need to understand is this. If you have about 10 people in the philosophy humanities department, all with the exception of one, they were my former students. All of them. So I have the power to make that happen for you. You only have to do one thing. Trust me. But for you to do that, you have to like me. And if you like me, you're willing to sacrifice. In other words, you're going to just do as I say. Go to school. Do philosophy. When you're done, come back here. It means suck it up for 5 years. Allow every person out there to crap all over you and be okay with it. 5 years. Come back here. I will give you a couple of classes to teach. You'll make about $80 an hour. Maybe more. And then you can come to class and express your ideas the way you want to. Put your desires on hold for 5 years and reap the benefits for the next 50 years, which is best for you. But for that to happen, you need to find someone to whom you're attracted and you enjoy what they do. Without that, you have no GPS. All of life requires people to have a relatively functioning and healthy GPS. In the absence of that, you are on your own and you have to figure things out. And I got to tell you, life is far too complicated for an 18-year-old to be able to figure things out. And just because you speak well or even think well, it means nothing. Yeah.
Do you think if you get your bachelor's degree when you're 30 years old, it's very late?
No, it's never late. You know, right now it's what we call winter time, I suppose. Fall, winter. Are you a Costco member?
No.
Have you ever gone to Costco?
Yes.
Okay. So if you can't go to Costco today, they have some watermelons. Buy one. It's about $10.
But
Whatever, just buy a goddamn watermelon.
I can also go to Safeway.
Fine, go to Safeway, buy watermelon. Just buy a watermelon.
I'm not spending $10 on watermelon.
Just listen, don't. Oh, go home, cut the watermelon and eat it. The problem is, it's not the right season for watermelons. So you can buy one. You have the power and the money to go there and get yourself a watermelon. You have knives at the house. If you don't, just bang it on the floor, it'll cut to pieces. And then start eating it. It's not going to taste very good. It's going to be mushy. Okay? It may even look good, but it just won't taste good. And the problem is this. Everything in life has its own proper seasons. It's not that you can't go to school at the age of 30. The problem is at the age of 30 is you have to work 9 to 5. You have to pay rent and utilities. If you're like 15 or 16 or 17, hopefully you have a relatively decent relationship with your parents. You're still living at home. They cook for you, do your laundry, give you free rent. You can just put your focus on school. It's the right season. Only for 4 years. You do your bachelor's, you apply for your master's, you go to New York somewhere. NYU, for example. Hopefully on a scholarship. Okay? By the time you're 25, you're done. At the age of 25, you walk into the world. What do you have now? You have power. You have bachelor's. You have a master's. You give your resume to anyone out there, a graduate from Brown, NYU, Stanford, Berkeley, they will take you immediately. And how much are you going to make at the age of 25? These days, are you kidding? 100,000. Now you walk into this world with privilege, with power, and you can make use of that. I'm not saying at the age of 30 it's going to be difficult. I mean, it's going to be impossible. It's just going to be a bit more complicated. Look, your first marriage, you walk into it with a good amount of dreams and hopes, and rightly so. When it falls apart and your second marriage comes about, you go in very, very cautiously. Your third marriage, oh man, you do prenup, another prenup, you have like 5 or 6 prenups. You just don't trust your decision-making abilities. You know it's going to fall apart. Marriage is good, but your 4th, 5th, 6th, I mean, maybe Frank Sinatra had it best. You know, that your 15th love is the best love, not the first one. Nothing is ever late. It just becomes more and more complicated, that's all. Anyone else? Yeah. Yeah, of course. Yeah. You have nice fingers. What is it now?
It's maybe just a comment.
Sure.
Like in my age, I'm 23.
Yeah, how many?
I'm 23.
23.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it very like concerns me that I'm doing my associate degree right now, whereas other people have the bachelor's degree when they're 20 or 21.
Don't worry about all those things. My recommendation to you at the age of 23, which is almost very close to the grave, is the following. Do whatever you can to pass these classes. You didn't hear it from me? Plagiarize, cheat, have other friends take classes for you. Photoshop.
I can plagiarize from interpretation of what.
Not for this class. Not for this class. Other classes. Whatever works. And if you don't know whatever works really means, watch the movie by Woody Allen. And the name of the movie is Whatever Works. Allahu Akbar. Yeah, Thomas? Hold on. That's Thomas. Chris. Ah, damn. What is it? Peter, yeah. Peter the denier, yeah. Let me see. Oh, they're beautiful. I love those tattoos. Are they permanent? I'm sorry. No, it's good. I like them. They're good. Peter. Have a nice day. Take care of yourselves. Have a nice weekend. We'll see you next week.
Yeah, Thomas.